Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards coming at you with another Magic the Gathering video. This time, the lands from Modern Horizons 3. We're gonna hit them up and see what they do. Monumental Hinge is a land. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control planes. I know they made one of each of these, so let's see if they're good. So it doesn't have to enter tapped. I love that. Tap add a green, add a white. 2 white, tap it. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You reveal a historic card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I really like this. So, in Modern, this is just, I love lands that are card advantage. So as long as you're playing planes, and it doesn't have to be a basic plane, so as long as you're playing a white deck that's running white shocks and fetching for them with the fetch lands, you can get this card out untapped. Doesn't hurt you. Doesn't replace basics, because the reason you run basics in Modern is usually to avoid stuff like Blood Moon and removal spells for non-basic lands. But this card itself, you get to look at the top 5 cards and reveal historic, put in the end. So yeah, like, this is card advantage on a land. And card advantage on a land is great. This is going to see niche play in historic decks. And I say niche because not a lot of people are just going to... I could see, like, running 2 of these in your deck. Like, you could probably run... It's not a legendary either. You could probably run, like, 2 of these and remove a card advantage card from your deck. If you're not, like, a super aggro deck. And use this to just go, look, there we go. There's the historic card I need. There's the artifact, legendary, or saga card that I need to win the game or to continue gaining advantage. I like that. I honestly do enjoy that concept and think it's pretty good. In Commander, you could technically go infinite with an untap, with infinite mana and untapping of a land, and then just add every historic card from your deck to your hand, which is interesting. Outside of that, just like in casual games, this is fun. This is like just a fun little card advantage card. There's just a planes. Don't gotta go over that. Okay. Archway of Innovation. Archway of Innovation. It's the battle of tap unless you control an island. Tap, add an island, or add a blue. Pay a blue, tap. The next spell you cast this turn has improvise. Your artifacts can help cast that spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating the mana abilities pays for 1. Okay, so this is another absolutely great card. Oh, you're running an artifact deck? Cool. Let's go a little further. This isn't going to be your... I mean, even if this is like your turn 1 land, if you got nothing to do in turn 1, who cares? But like turn 2, you play this, untapped, and right away, you can tap this with your other blue source, and then tap all your artifacts to help cast your bigger stuff. This really helps push like mono blue Tron running 4 of these to like the next level, because if this is your turn 2 and you've dropped like, you have a hand of like a bunch of 0-drop artifacts, if you've got like 3 0-drop artifacts, or 4, let's say 4 0-drop artifacts, and you do this, you can get a 4-drop, you can get a 7-drop artifact with not improvise but the other one, affinity out, because it costs 4 less. You tap the 4 for improvise, boom, you drop it. That's really good. Like, that's more aggressive, helps you get the bigger stuff out faster. I really like that, to be fair. And the next spell you cast this turn, so you can also do this to help you cast spells on your opponent's turn, which is interesting. Cephaloid Coliseum coming to Modern. It was originally an Odyssey, and now it's here, just sitting, looking pretty. Yeah, this card's going to go up in price. It's always been an uncommon. Well, okay, I guess Fund the Vault, it was a mythic, but yeah, I really like this card. And I tried it in play release and really thought, what good does this card do? And what it does is great. It doesn't come in tapped. Yes, it's going to deal damage to you, so you got that downside. But that threshold ability, dude, I love it. Being able to pay a blue, tap it, sack it, draw 3 cards, ditch the cards you don't need, and fill your graveyard up to trigger graveyard shenanigans is so good. This card's going to do a lot in the game, and I really do enjoy seeing this in Modern now. Oh, come on. Next 20. Here we go. That's just the island. Okay, now we got... Okay, Phyrexian Tower. Phyrexian Tower is already a $20 card in here, and $37 if you're talking about the other version, but it's expensive. It's always been an expensive card. It always will be. In Modern, it being legal in Modern, it's just going to raise the price, guys. Legendary land, tap for a colorless, or tap, sack a creature, add 2 black. The amount of ramp this gives you for aggro decks is insane. Plus, it's a sack outlet in a land deck, which as a land. So this card literally can go in as a replacement, not for a land, but for your sack outlet. If you had a card you were running in Modern that was your sack outlet for once a turn, I can sack a card, a creature, this does that. You don't really want to run too many of these because it's a legendary land, so you can only have one of them out. But I'd probably run 2, mainly because you can play 1, tap it, sack a creature, get 2 mana, play the second one, sack the tap Phyrexian Tower, tap it, sack another creature, get 4 mana. So I'd probably stick to 2 of them, but I think it's very strong in a lot of different decks. Just really pushing you to that next level of just being aggressive, or at least having a sack outlet in your command zone. In your as a land. Okay, here's the black new card. Spymaster Vault. Enters the battle tapped unless you control a swamp. Taps for a black. Black, tap it. Target creature you control connives X, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. Okay, I like this. So to connive, you draw X cards, then discard X cards, and you put a 1/1 counter on it for each non-land discard this way, okay? So, where does this come in play? Okay, so something like Yawgmoth loves this. Oh, look, I sacked a creature 20 times, because you've got the infinite with Yawgmoth, but let's say you sack 5 creatures with Yawgmoth. Well, now you can attack, and with Yawgmoth or one of your small flyers, it gets in, you can connive 5 times. Draw, ditch the cards. Oh, look, now it's got 5 more. It's got 5 1/1s on it. 1/1 counters on it. That's great. On the other hand, I can see Spymaster Vault decks going for a Esper deck, running Supreme Verdict to board wipe, and then the card running creatures, wiping the board and having a creature that's either indestructible or a creature that can gain indestructible in some way. Now they're all wiped. What's the god that does that? Let me double check. Looking at the gods that could work with this, Bontu the Glorified works with this. Ministet Indestructible 4/6. So in this hypothetical world where you have 5 mana and you use 4 of it to Supreme Verdict, wiping the field, and then you connive, Bontu's gonna be that really nice. It's a 4/6, so you can get that up. It's X is the number of creatures that died this turn. So if you wipe your opponent's field, you could possibly get this up enough to one-shot someone. You could do it with Heliod, but the issue is that devotion, so you'd have to run non-creatures, and then you're relying on your opponents, which I don't love. Kefnet's okay, but you'd need to have a hand for it to really push that notion. Ronus could work. Ronus could work. It's not the right colors necessarily. Because Supreme Verdict, yeah, you could do a different board wipe, to be fair. I just like Supreme Verdict because it can't be countered. If you go up to 4, I'll just do this quickly while on camera. You do get a few more choices. You could go... again, the devotion ones are hard to do, in my opinion. But Oketra could work, and it's got double strike. So doing Oketra the True with the double strike could work, because then you would just have to get 7 creatures to die, and then you could just one-shot someone. That's interesting. I think that could be a fun idea, Spymaster Oketra deck. Yeah. Swamp. Arena of Glory is the red one. Arena of Glory enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Taps for red. Pay red. Tap it. Exhort Arena of Glory. Add 2 red. If this mon is meant to cast a creature spell, it gains haste until end of turn. An exhorted permanent won't untap during your next untap step. Okay, so this card is just a way to give stuff haste. Because if you tap a mountain and then tap this for 2 red, you're literally just tapping 2 lands for 2 red, right? But giving a creature haste on a land that doesn't come in tapped is bueno. Muy bueno. I really like that concept. It really does push, in my opinion, like aggression, right? Oh, I want to win the game. I need to give this big guy haste. How do I do that? Oh, Arena of Glory. I'm in a red deck. I'm just going to run 4 of these. Yeah, because it's going to be able to, like, if anything, it's, oh, I'm just tapping it for a red. Who cares? But on the other hand, oh, look, I can use it to rush out my big guy and hit you now to win the game, which is very useful. Barbarian Ring is a another reprint from Odyssey, and it comes in untapped, taps for a red but deals damage to you. For Threshold, tap it, sacrifice it, it deals 2 damage to any target. Activate only if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. I think Barbarian Ring is fantastic in a burn deck. I think running 4 of these in like mono red wins is just another way to just win the game. Okay? Because Barbarian Ring comes out. It only does 2 damage to any target. Don't get me wrong. But if you're spell slinging cards out there left and right, you're going to get to that 7 pretty easily. You got that 7. If you've got 2 Barbarian Rings, that's 4 more damage you can deal. So if you've done that, that means you have to deal 16 other damage. Whereas before, you would have to deal the 20. Barbarian Ring's a land that only makes you have to deal 16. Right? A 3rd Barbarian Ring all of a sudden on the field, if you could get to that. Yeah, a 3rd one would literally get you to, brain fart there. Sorry, guys. A 3rd one would then be 6, meaning you only had to get that 14 damage. So running 4 of these in mono red burn decks, I could see just totally being there as a big push to win the game. In the end. There's a forest. And now the broken card, Shifting Woodland. Shifting Woodland is the green card. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control forest. Taps for a green Delirium. 2 and a green. 2 and 2 green. Shifting Woodland becomes the copy of a target permanent card in your graveyard until end of turn. Activate only if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. This card's busted. It just is. If you expect to ever get Delirium, you're probably, and you're in a green deck in Modern, you're probably running 2 to 4 of these cards. Because, yeah, why not? People are already looking at running an Omniscience deck with this. Grabbing any any hasty creature that you can just run into someone and knock them out. Any good activated ability cards. There is so much you can do with this. It's bonkers, okay? This card is going to warp the format, and I love it. How do I feel about it in Commander? I love it. Again, if you're expected to get to Delirium in Commander, you might still put this in there. Just as a repeat of a combo piece. Like, even CDH, like, put this in the deck if you're in green. Because you can just, oh, you got rid of my combo piece? Let me just Shifting Woodland and get that back. Oh, look, I got my combo piece back. I win. Like, oh, look, it's Kiki Jiki now. Oh, look, it's Food Chain. Like, you stopped me? Nah, here's my land. And no one runs land interaction in CEDH, so, like, this is good. This is a good card. Contaminated Landscape is the new colorless one. Oh, yeah, this is the new cycle. So the new cycle, I find to be fine. So they tap for a colorless, which is great for all the Eldrazi stuff. They tap to grab whatever they cycle for, the 3 basics they can grab. They come in tapped, and then you can cycle them for 3 basic. Mind you, because of the cycling, they can only be ran in Commander decks with those colors in it. So you're going to see these in 3, 4, 5 color decks in Commander. I've built a 5 color deck running these as the mana fixing, and I like, because there's the whole cycle. There's one for every single 3-color pairing, so 10 of them, and I find them very good, honestly. I think they very much do their job of being a cheap version of a way to get to your basics. Are the fetches better? These guys that are being reprinted? Yes. The fetches, a lot better. Just, no, like, they really are just a lot better. But the other ones really do their job. Oh, Desert Temple's finally available in here, okay. Yeah, it taps for colors, but for one, you can untap target land. This card's, again, really good depending on the land you're untapping. If you're untapping a land that has an activated ability, that's very useful. If you're untapping something like the Phyrexian Tower, so you can get 2 more mana, sure, because you can tap Phyrexian mana, sack a creature, use one of them to tap Desert to untap it to sack a creature, go up to 3 mana. 3 black mana. Which, again, isn't the most useful because Desert Temple cost 1, so, like, he could have just done 2 black and a colorless, but maybe you needed 3 black for some reason. But yeah, there's definitely lands that you want to untap that could be useful. But yeah, these are just better because they don't come in tapped. Oh, Nesting Grounds, right. So Nesting Grounds was a Commander product only, and now it's in Modern, I believe. Yeah, it was only ever Commander. So Nesting Grounds, you tap it, add a colorless, pay 1, tap it, move a counter from target permanent you control onto another target permanent, activate only as a sorcery. So this card, some people were freaking out about, and now people are like, eh. The most plausible deck for this is like running 4 of these in a test subject in like Hardened Scales decks, because moving the 1/1 counter puts a 1/1 counter, so then you double it. So like as long as you're not like hurt from running colorless lands, being able to do that like a few times, you could like move counters from other creatures over to your Walking Ballista and put 2 on it each time. So like if you had 4 Nesting Grounds, like in the biggest case you have 4 Nesting Grounds, 4 things, and then you can put 8 counters onto your Walking Ballista. Right? Like, okay, cool. Maybe you have 2 Hardened Scales, and then you're gonna like put 3 times 4, which is 12, so that could work. There's other counters you can move around, but I don't really know if any of them are really useful. Yeah, we know about that. Yeah, we got Snow-Covered Wastes, which is interesting. They're already $1.42. They're uncommon, so they are not legal in Pauper. This is, like, hilarious that they made it not legal in Pauper, because they didn't want Pauper to, like, accidentally break Snow-Covered Wastes. But I really don't know if they're going to be used. I guess they help with the lens in monocolored decks now, or colorless decks. But I'd still rather run a bunch of like the one upside of running a colorless deck in Commander is that you get a bunch of utility lands. Yeah, this card's gross. It is probably going to stay the most expensive card in the format, and it could be the one that gets banned from Modern at some point. Ugin's Labyrinth is a land with imprint. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless card with mana value 7 or greater from your hand. Tap and add a colorless. If a card is exiled with Ugin's Labyrinth, add 2 instead. That makes it technically a better version of Tomb, because it doesn't deal damage to you. Return the exiled card to its owner's hand when you need it. So this card's gross. It literally helps push you further. It's gross. It just is. Urza's Cave is another just pretty good card. It taps for a colorless, and then pay 3 and tap it, sacrifice it, search your library for a land card, put it into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. This grabs your Ugin's Labyrinth, which then enters the battlefield and you exile 7 drop from your hand. So that's what it does. You're running 4 of these, because in the colorless Tron, yeah, of course you're running 4 of these. Because they grab you your Tron lands, and they can grab you Ugin's Labyrinth, so that's gross. And yeah, you know the other fetch lands. So those are all the lands. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite land is out of the set. Let me know what you think the best land is out of the set. Is it Ugin's Labyrinth? Is it the thing that gives you Ugin's Labyrinth? Do you just like the fetch lands? Let me know. Down in the doobly-doobly-doo. Anyway, other than that, the next video is going to be the Commander set. So, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.